the government is responsive. The government now is more connected to the people. So that is why people are certainly happier, and certainly they are able to reflect their problems to the administration, which the administration from time to time, given the means, are addressing.
Namaste and welcome to Chitti Media. My name is Divyanshi Sharda, your host. At Chitti Media, we believe in having insightful discussions on issues not just domestic, but also global. And with this, I would like to warmly welcome our guest for today's show, Sri Saukat Biswas ji. Saukat ji is an IAS officer. He is the first Divisional Commissioner of the Ladakh administration and also the Secretary of the Ladakh administration, under which he oversees 7 departments. Saukat ji, namaste and welcome to our show.
Thank you so much.
It's really a pleasure to have you here, sir. We are absolutely honored to have you here on our show. So Saukat ji, coming to the very first question about your posting as the first the first Divisional Commissioner of the Ladakh administration. Clearly, you were the first person in this entire field to be posted in this particular position in the state, in the newly formed Union Territory of Ladakh. So, sir, what were the core responsibilities and challenges that you faced being freshly posted in the region?
Yeah, you are partially right in saying that I was the first officer to be posted, in the Union Territory. But then I was posted before the Union Territory was formed. Before the Union Territory was formed, Ladakh was made into a division. So that is when I was posted. You can, and certainly the formation of the Union Territory posed a lot of new, what should I say, challenges, because whenever a new entity is carved out, then establishment of offices, setting up of administrative structure, then funding patterns, financial aspects, physical aspects like office infrastructure, so many things come into play. So we had these responsibilities to cater to, and we did it to our best. And now, since the time of the formation of the Union Territory, that is the 31st of October 2019, we have certainly come a long way, and things are settled and things are moving, and we have a full-fledged administration in place under the leadership of the Lieutenant Governor of Ladakh.
All right, so that's some wonderful information you've given us. So what we can gather from the points that you've made is that after the carving out of Ladakh as a separate union territory, and since 31st October 2019, there has been a relatively greater stabilization of the region administration-wise. So on a related note, could you please shed some light on the changes that were experienced by the government officials regarding the efficiency of administration post the application of Article 370?
After the formation of Union Territory, obviously the Ladakh, which is a huge area, which is spread across 60,000 square kilometers, it is a very vast area, and the population density is very low, and the population is spread far and wide. So these were in the erstwhile state of J&K 2 districts called Kargil and Leh. Now these 2 districts become a union territory, and there is a government to look after, and there is the Home Ministry, above us. So there's this direct, what should I say, focus on the union territory, on these 2 districts, on this whole population and its various requirements, its development, the requirements of funding, the interventions that are required in terms of development of infrastructure, so many other things. So with the coming in of this complete focus on these 2 districts as a union territory, things have changed vastly. The official structure has changed, the hierarchy has changed, and more focused attention has been is being put in place. So efficiency has certainly increased.
All right, sir. Understood. So we can definitely gather from that that efficiency has been of a much greater standard and of a much greater level post the application of Article 370 and post the formation of Ladakh as a separate union territory. So, we have heard from you what the reaction and what the experience of the government officials were with relation to the formation of Ladakh as a separate union territory and Article 370 application. But from the point of view of the common public of Ladakh, what do they feel? How do they feel regarding these new changes that have been brought into their homeland by the government of India?
See, the common public has certainly welcomed, and because it was a long aspiration of the people of Ladakh to become a union territory and be governed independently, so which is now happening. And as I told you earlier also, the complete focus on a state, on a union territory is different than divided focus on two districts of a government. So there is a huge difference. There are lots of aspirations of the people of both the districts, not only two districts, but various places in the districts. Ladakh, as I said, is a huge area, very, what should I say, spread out area. So on a spread out scale, on a spread out area, there are various places like Zanskar, like Nubra, like Changthang, like, the border areas bordering China. So many aspects are there, so many aspirations are there which are different. So to give a focused attention, they can reach out to the government now, they can reach out to the administration now, they can come to the headquarters, talk to I mean, nobody less than the lieutenant governor himself, and seek their attention and tell their problems, tell their stories. So the government is responsive, the government now is more connected to the people. So that is why people are certainly happier, and certainly they are able to reflect their problems to the administration, which the administration from time to time, given the means, are addressing. So that is how the government is more closer to the people, more closer to the needs of the people, and people are certainly happier as we go along.
That's fantastic to hear. So moving along the same lines, sir, you very rightly mentioned that because of these new changes that have been introduced by the government of India, there has been a much greater sense of direct interaction between the government and the common people. So in relation to that, could you kindly illuminate in detail on the developmental policies and programs that the government has initiated post the application of 370?
Yeah, see, after the formation of the Union Territory, the government of India has, to cover the gaps, developmental gaps of this region, have devised this special package for the Union Territory of Ladakh, which runs into a huge amount of money. And this is the second year running, and a lot of developmental projects have been taken up in various important sectors. Apart from raising the allocation of the two hill development councils of Kargil and Leh, the Union Territory administration also has a solid financial backing to support projects of nature that can fill the gaps that existed in various sectors. So be it the healthcare infrastructure, be it educational infrastructure, be it supporting policies to do with development of industrial sector in the small and micro village level industries, be it in the rural developmental sector in terms of training, be it in empowering the Panchayati Raj systems far and wide. We have 193 panchayats, we have 31 blocks. So we're now able to empower the blocks through funding, so that they can meet the aspiration of the Gram Panchayats, the Gram Sabhas resolutions, etc. Capacity building to a huge extent. Then electrification, solar electrification wherever the grid lines do not exist. Then certainly a lot of developmental initiatives in the telecom sector. Ladakh was a telecom, what should I say, challenged area. But then now a lot of push is being given by the UT administration in collaboration with the Ministry of Telecom, the Department of Telecom. So various things are coming up. We're just 2 years into the system, and the processes have started, and the processes, many of them are midway, many of them have reached maturity. So many things are happening. So I believe, in the coming days, the people of Ladakh will see a very developed place with with the ethos of the place, with the ethos of the tribal culture intact. So that is where we are heading.
That's wonderful to hear. So, sir, you mentioned in your points that the tribal culture of Ladakh is a very sensitive issue for the Ladakhi people, quite naturally, as it is in every part of the country. So, how is this being held in place? How is this being protected via the initiation of the domicile certificates?
No, domicile certificates or not, that is a different question altogether. No specific decision has yet been taken on that, but certainly the administration is doing its best to to promote and to preserve and to conserve everything that has to do with the place, everything that has to do with Kargil's culture, everything that has to do with Leh's culture, and various other places which have distinct cultural identities and ethos. Be it by way of securing of the heritage places, the local the local literature, the local culture, documentation of the village forms, everything to do with the ethnicity of the place is being looked at a policy level. Then certainly at the same time, while we are developing industries, while we're talking about development of the industrial sector, special focus, or should I say the prime focus, only focus is being given for development of the local industries, of the local products, the products which are produced in Ladakh, nothing else. So those things, for example, we are looking at apricot, we are looking at sea buckthorn, we are looking at pashmina, which is produced exclusively in Ladakh. So how to grow that, how to add value at the village level, at the producer level, so that the money goes back to the people, that is the producers, instead of any bigger businessman from outside. So we are not looking at that kind of industrial development. We're looking at inclusive industrial development where money plows back to the villages. So all those things are being done by the administration.
Thank you so much, sir. So, sir, coming to my next question, we barely get to hear about how Ladakh has handled the COVID pandemic in the news, in the mainstream news, with roughly 13,000 cases so far and a low death toll of 136. What has been the COVID management strategy of a union territory like Ladakh with multiple remote areas?
No, Ladakh has been able to handle the COVID situation very well, and compliment to the people of Ladakh also, who have collaborated and cooperated with the administration, with the directions of the administration, because when the directions of the administration come, they appear to be harsh, they appear to be restrictive, and for the populace to cope with it initially looks a little difficult. But in Ladakh, we did not face much problem. People have been very mature in handling the situation. In 2020 also, Ladakh was the first union territory to impose 144, which was I think on the 8th of March 2020, much before the government of India, much before other places put a lockdown, formal lockdown. So since then we could control. We had returnees from foreign countries. We had a lot of load who were positive, but the quarantine centers were made functional very well in time. The hospital facilities, the COVID care centers, everything was put in place very efficiently by both the district administrations, and the people played a very good role. And the youth, especially, there's a lot of the whole world was running around, and everybody was going back to their homes as soon as the lockdown was lifted. So that was also a time when things had to be handled very carefully, very in a very well planned manner, which was done by the administration very well. And we had a lot of a team of nodal officers working almost 24/7. Nobody was sleeping actually at that time. So the administration in those 3 or 4 months was almost working 24/7 to handle the situation of COVID. And similarly, again now, when the resurgence of this pandemic has happened in 2021, Ladakh is well placed with oxygen plants and COVID beds and all the things that are required, medical supplies, etc. We are trying our best that we can keep up with the challenge and face it without much casualties or much loss. But then at the same time, we are also having to strict, say for example, force that is coming in to Ladakh. We are insisting that they come with a negative RT-PCR test. Any tourist or any visitor who comes in to Ladakh must come with a negative RT-PCR test report. So all those things, all those strictures are being put in place. So I hope that people will also cooperate this time around, and we will see this phase through.
That's wonderful to hear. So when exactly did the vaccination drive in Ladakh start? Was it as immediate as it did in the rest of India?
Yes, 100%, absolutely. The vaccination drive started as per the Government of India schedule, and it is going on very well in Ladakh. And we are also putting in place our infrastructure and mechanism and vaccines, etc., to start the vaccination drive for 18 plus people well in time.
That's fantastic. So it just goes to show that the Ladakh administration is absolutely efficient when it comes to its governance. So finally, sir, I would like to ask you that it is a fact that there are several such youngsters all across the country who really look up to you, and several such individuals like you were part of the government, who part of the civil services. So what advice would you give to those aspirants who wish to join the services and then subsequently serve the country through absolute selflessness like you do?
No, I think everybody who wants to serve the nation should look for ways and means to serve the nation. Civil services, the Indian Administrative Services is one great opportunity. It gives you, such moments in your career that make you feel that you have contributed and you have been able to contribute for the country, for the countrymen. And similarly, there are other opportunities, other career opportunities which can help you do that too. My only appeal to youngsters and people would be that they must endeavor to serve people. They must endeavor to look for opportunities to help people. That is where they can maximize and optimize their abilities as a human being, and be it the civil services or any other career.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful words of advice and encouragement to the people of India, especially to youngsters who wish and aspire to conduct and to have careers in this line. So, Shogat ji, we are really honored to have you here on our platform. Thank you so much for joining us in our interview today. We understand you must be so busy, and taking out time from your busy schedule to join us for this interview must have been extremely difficult. So we genuinely are very grateful to you for that, and we are absolutely honored to have you here on our platform.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Thank you.
Namaste, sir.
Thank you.
Namaste. We hope you enjoyed this Chitti Media content. Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.